Hi there. So I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that you're about to enjoy a new reading lesson. Yay! Predictions, predicting outcomes. So I predicted that you're going to enjoy today's reading lesson, and the outcome will be that it will help you with your GED test. Good job. I'm doing a thumbs up. You can't see me, but I'm doing a thumbs up. Anyway, this is Miss Teresa from Skills U. We represent we represent 8 different counties in our region. That's Bullitt, Carroll, Shelby, Spencer, Gallatin, Oldham, Trimble, and Henry. We service all 8 counties. And if you are interested in getting started with your GED, or if you've already started but you're wanting to pick back up and continue going with it, give us a call at 502-213-5212. Or you can contact us through our Facebook page at JCTC Skills U. Just drop us a message there on the messenger. Or you can even contact us in the discussion board there at our YouTube channel. That's at Skills U Online. So you've got 3 different ways to contact us. We're more than happy to help you get started or help you pick up from where you left off so you can finish this thing. Okay, so like I said, we're talking about predicting outcomes today. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. And I hope everyone is doing really well out there. I know these are kind of crazy times. So we're talking about predicting outcomes. Let's make this bigger. Oh yes, perfect. Predicting outcomes. So basically when you're reading a book, you're always thinking ahead, even though you may not quite realize at the time, but you're always wondering what's going to happen next, and especially when you tend to favor a certain character. You're going to predict in your mind, you're going to wonder, how is this character going to end up in this situation? So we're going to watch a little video. I think you'll enjoy it with this camel, and we're going to talk about it when it's finished.
Writing's not that easy,
Of course,
but Grammarly can
commercials.
help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
Okay, we'll get out of that. Here we go. Okay, so predicting outcomes and the camel. Okay, so when we first saw this, when it first started, we realized that the camel, I like to think of it as a dog because I have a dog who does this all the time. He laid the architect had, archaeologist had laid his brush down and the camel picked it up and started chewing on it. So that was a clue. That was a clue of something that could possibly happen. So we had to look for that, kind of like a foreshadowing. We looked at what that was about, how that related to the camel. And then when the archaeologists found the remote, I guess you'd call it, the artifact that turned out to be a remote, and he laid it down to climb up the stairs, and then the camel again gave us a little bit of foreshadowing, and the next thing we know, he's chewing on the remote, the relic. So anyway, that's called predicting outcomes. You could tell what was going to happen because this is what the clues that we found. These were the clues that we found in this video. Okay, so we're going to go back to the PowerPoint. Let me bring that back up here. Okay, all right, and the objective for this lesson, and so that's how we look for those clues is what I was trying to say. So the objective for this lesson is that you're going to be able to practice making predictions and support your thinking with evidence from the text. Now in the last lesson when we were working on cause and effect, I said that if you were interested in joining the class, to give us a ring, to give us a shout out, and I would help you. I would be happy to help you get started. And one of the things we were going to be working on, or we have been working on, is Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. Now, in this lesson, I have selected a few of his, just a few passages from his story, and just to kind of give us an idea of what Poe's writing the story is all about. So in the first part, this first paragraph, this is the introduction, he's talking about this character is making excuses. He's making a mention that apparently people are thinking he's mad, as in, crazy, not angry. And he says, the disease has sharpened my senses, not destroyed them, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. I heard all things in heaven and in the earth. I heard many things in hell. How then am I mad? Hearken and observe how healthily, how calmly I can tell you the whole story. So in this passage, he's talking about he's not mad, he's not crazy, he's not insane. All this disease has done for him has made his senses more. It's sharpened them. He can hear his hearing is very acute, which means it's very sharp. He knows things that we probably don't know, at least in his thinking he does. So he's also proud of the fact that he's going to tell you about this story. So now, if you were with us in the last lesson, you know the story, and you understand that this is a story about a character who had taken I can't think of what it is, but he's taken someone in to rent out a room in his home. And there is something about this tenant, is who it is, the tenant, that really bothers the character in Poe's story. It has something to do with his eye. And he's often wondered if the tenant ever was able to close his eyes, because the eye was so big, it was bulging. And so he started thinking about, does he close them when he goes to sleep? So in this part of the story, he talks about sneaking into the room of the tenant to see if he's asleep, to see if he's closed the eye. He does it very carefully. And then, as he says, opening just enough room that's sufficient for his head, He puts in a dark lantern, all closed, so that no line shone out. Then I thrust in my head. Oh, you would have laughed at how cunningly I thrust it in. I moved it slowly, very, very slowly, so that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. It took me an hour to place my whole head within the opening so far that I could see him as he lay upon his bed. So, when you read the story, when you enroll with our program, we'll talk more about how that works and how that plays into predicting the outcomes. But in this passage, this is giving you a little bit more practice with it. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to develop a method of predicting outcomes. So this is a passage about a man called Vince Thunder. So Vince Thunder waved to the crowd one more time before he put on his motorcycle helmet. The crowd cheered uproariously. Vince looked down the ramp and across the 17 school buses that he was about to attempt to jump. It was a difficult trick, and everything he would need would go right for him to nail it. His cape blew in the wind as Vince hopped on his motorcycle and started down the ramp. He noticed something that he had not seen before. There was a large oil slick at the end of the ramp. He attempted to stop the bike, but it was too late. He had already built up too much momentum. So what is going to happen? What are we predicting the outcome of this to be? So this is what we think about. What event is most likely to occur next? Just think about it. He's on top of the ramp. He's feeling the wind in his cape, and he's proud of himself. He takes off, and he looks down, and he sees there's an oil slick at the bottom of the ramp. More than likely, there's going to be a crash. And how do we know this? Because we know he's going fast, and we know that he can't stop, and we know that the oil slick is waiting for him at the bottom. So that's part of the evidence that supports the prediction that he's going to crash. So in this next one, we're talking about Rex. Rex sat at the mouth of the alley and chewed the bone that he had found by the dumpster. It was a meaty bone that had belonged to a larger animal, perhaps a State Fair prize-winning pig. Rex was attracted to the bone by its strong scent. Apparently, he was not the only one who could smell it. He heard the jangle of tags behind him and turned to see a larger dog. Rex released the bone and began growling at the other dog, and the other dog began growling at Rex. The two dogs inched toward one another, maintaining eye contact. Each began growling louder and as the other approached within striking distance. What is most likely to occur next? You're right. There's probably going to be a dog fight. They're going to be fighting over the bone. What evidence supports this, though? Well, we know these are two dogs in an alley. We know that there is a bone that one of them has been chewing on, and the other dog comes up and smells that this bone's there. And so just as normal as any other dog would be, or a pair of dogs would be, they both want the bone. So the descriptive words that the author uses in this passage, just like the other passages we've read, helps us to understand that what is about to happen is a dog fight over the bone. One of them will walk away with the bone. We don't know which one, but we do know that's about to happen. So predicting outcomes, what is a prediction? Predictions are thoughts about what you think will happen in a story before you read, and a prediction is more than just a guess. It should make sense with the clues you've been given. Just like we talked about, how did we come to realize there's going to be a dogfight? How did we come to realize that there is going to be a crash at the end of the ramp? Because we know we've read all those clues. Remember the camel? And what he gave us as the clue? He picked up the brush at the beginning, chewed it up, and then the archaeologist left the artifact that turned out to be a remote control. And so, like any other animal, he picked it up, started chewing on it. So why is making a prediction an important reading strategy? Well, it helps us to focus on what we are reading about. It helps us to make connections about what we already know to what we think we know. and it gets us excited about what we are reading. So look at this. Predict the outcome. You have the characters, the setting, and the situation. Characters, a family of ants. They're in the park. People are enjoying a picnic. What do you think from those three elements are going to happen? Well, you're right. People are having a picnic in the park and there's a family of ants nearby. More than likely, ants are going to be invading their picnic and getting into their food. A little frustrating, but it happens. Okay, and so then the second one, we have the characters are a zebra and a 5-year-old. The setting is the backyard. And the situation is the 5-year-old just learned how to color in the lines. Okay, so I think we all can kind of think, especially if we have children, where you know how imaginative they can be. You have a zebra, which has black and white stripes, and you have someone who's just learned how to color in the lines. More than likely, that little 5-year-old is going to be up there trying to color that zebra. So anyway, that's how we make predictions with the outcome, and that's why it's important for us to do that when we're reading and realize that we're doing it and how we do it. So again, this is Miss Teresa from Skills U, from the 8-county region that we represent, which is Bullitt, Oldham, Shelby, Gallatin, Trimble, Henry, and Spencer. Oh, and Carroll. And also, please give us a call at 502-213-5212 so we can help you get registered to work on your GED or help you get started continuing with the work you've already done. All right, so you have a great day, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.